What are some of the best things about being a CRA, you would say? Because everyone wants to be a CRA. I have my thoughts about why, but why do you think people want to be a CRA?
I would say maybe the travel. You get paid pretty well. I don't know what else. I mean, for me, the best things about being a CRA, the flexibility, you get to make your own schedule. Somewhat, you have to match it with the site schedule, but for the most part, you make your own schedule if you schedule it ahead of time. There are some instances where you just have to be gone back to back because you may be in like database lock or something like that. But for the most part, like I said, you get to make your own schedule. The traveling can get tiring. It does get like annoying sometimes, but the plus side is you get the points. You get the hotel points, the airline points, the car rental points. So if you're a traveler like I am, that helps a lot when you travel for personal trips. And then also the benefit of working from home, because we do travel so much, we get to work from home when we are at home.
Right.
So I think that definitely helps if you are the type of person that can work from home.
Like you don't get like sidetracked or anything like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think everybody gets a little sidetracked at home.
Right.
That's inevitable, but some people just can't do it at all.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, the perks, the money, that's why people want to do it. What about, where was I going with this? What about are there any like downsides to being a CRA?
Yeah, the traveling. The traveling in the different cities, depending on how your schedule is set up. But, I mean, I don't really see a downside besides that, because, you can easily tire yourself out from all of the traveling, depending on the project you're on. I know when I first got started, I was back and forth to the West Coast. So that was pretty tiring, and I just was doing a lot, just travel wise.
So traveling for business is obviously way different than traveling for pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how much are CRAs actually traveling? How much do you actually travel?
It's different for every project that I was on. So definitely for the majority of the time, I travel every week. Each week is different. Sometimes I have 1 visit a week. Sometimes I have 3 visits a week.
Okay.
So it just depends on the month and the project that I'm on. Currently, I'm in the transition of getting a new project, and I still have one old project. So currently my travel is light. I just do the project for my old study, and my new study, I'm still doing the training. So it's light. But generally every week, it differs on CRA as well, because some CRAs that I've worked with, they like to set their travel up where the first 3 weeks of the month, they're traveling. The last week, they're home the whole week. So it's dependent on the CRA. And if your manager is fine with you doing that, because some managers are like, you need to be out every week. Some managers are fine with, as long as you meet your required metrics for the month, you can set it up however you want if you want to be home the last week of the month. So I would say it's just dependent on the CRA.
Okay. How do you like to set yours up?
I'm trying to move to a point where I can do the traveling for 3 weeks and then home for 1 week straight.
But that's traveling every single day, right? Or 4 days a week.
Yeah, but it also depends on the month, because some months will have 2 extra days after the 4th week, like a Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So it depends on that. And then it also depends on your metrics. So depending on what company you work for, depends on how many visits you should be doing a month. So I have set it up. I did that last month and I did like it. I didn't have a problem with it. Like I said, because I was transitioning between projects, it was fine. I feel like once I get my new project up and running, I'm probably going to go back to just traveling every week. And normally when I travel every week, I'm traveling, like I'll leave either on a Monday and come back like Wednesday, or leave on a Tuesday, come back Thursday. Or sometimes I do day trips because I live in Atlanta, so I can do day trips for my
pretty easily.
Yeah, like most of the time I can get to the site by 9 o'clock. Getting up early, taking a 6:30 flight.
Now, why would you want to do that as opposed to like staying over someplace?
Because honestly, when you do it for so long, for me, I just became tired of staying in hotels. I was just like, I don't want to see a hotel. I'm tired of hotels. So I started taking day trips, and I just was like gone a lot, and I just was like missing my house. So I started doing day trips, and then my project, you can't do it all the time, but my project was getting to a point where the stuff that I had to review on site, it allowed for me to do a day trip because we were getting towards the end of the project. Okay. And so I can do day trips now with my project because it's less visits, less that they have to collect during the visits. So it's not as much information for me to review.
Got it.
So the day trips work fine.
Got it.
But of course, for like my new study, I know that I'm going to have to stay the night because this is a whole new study. We're starting from the beginning. It's a lot to review. Right. So I know a day trip is not going to work.
Okay. That's
so I like to mix them. I mean, I don't have a problem with staying overnight, but I just got to a point where my project allowed me to do day trips, and I was just tired of staying in hotels, so I did the day trip. I don't mind getting up in the morning, taking that early flight, and then coming back that same night. I actually preferred it at the time. Now, as of right now, where I am now I'm back to doing like overnights. I don't mind doing overnights, but for a period of, I want to say about 6 months, I was doing day trips.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah, I know people get burnt out being CRAs. I know people kind of, eventually just get tired of it. How do you manage that?
Well, I didn't start doing the day trips until it was like my 3rd year in that I started doing day trips. So all before that, I was going and staying the night and doing all that. So my day trips didn't start until the 3rd year of being CRA.
All right.
But yeah, so and mind you, it's not for every site. It's dependent on the site. But again, at that point in time when I started doing them, and I still do them now for some sites, depending on where they're at. Because the project has slowed down so much, and because I didn't have to review, I don't have a lot of information to review. Like I can go there and be done with work in 5 hours.
Got it.
So, that's the type of site that I'm going to because the project has slowed down tremendously.
Okay.
So that's how I can do a day project because I only have 5 hours of work to do when I get there.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
What was your question? Sorry, I just wanted to further explain because they're probably like, oh, how is she doing a day trip? But
no.
I only have about 5 hours of work, and depending on the site, that's the higher enrolling site. It's 5 hours of work. So my lower enrolling sites, it's even less time than that.
Okay. So yeah, the question was, how do you manage like the burnout and the stress and the travel all the time for the long term? Because I'm sure when you first become a CRA, it's new, exciting, it's fun. Like you said, the first 2 years, but by year 3, you're starting to be like, okay, I'm kind of tired of hotels now. So how do you manage that?
I would just say for me, when I first started, I was always like, yeah, I'll cover this visit. I'll do this visit, which is fine because you're a new CRA. That's normal. I would say for new CRAs to be like, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll go here. I'll go there. I'll do this. But I feel like once you feel like you're getting to a point where you're just always tired, you feel your body burning out, definitely say something to your manager, because your manager should be the one. I say should because it's not always this way, but your manager should be the one to back you up and to tell your project, like, you can't do this visit or you can't do this because you have to stop. Like I said, when I was first started as a CRA, I was going back and forth to the West Coast. So, your manager will, in my situation, be like, she can't go back to the West Coast anymore. Like, no, she needs to stay regional. She needs to do this. So I would say definitely speak with your manager, and then just pay attention to your body, because a lot of people will overlook it and they'll just keep going, and then they'll be burnt out, and then they'll just be quitting
Right.
because they're burnt out.
Right.
So I say pay attention to your body. Don't be afraid to tell your study team no, because think about it. The senior CRAs, they have no problem telling people no, that they won't do it. Some CRAs are super, and they're like supermen and superwomen, and they can just go, 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 go. But everybody's not like that. So I definitely say don't be afraid to tell them that you can't do it, because just because you need to either you need to get your mind back together, get your body back together, or you just need the day to work. Like, some people actually need that day at home to work. Like, they don't work well in hotels or different things like that. So I just say, always tell people, like, don't be afraid to tell them that you can't do it. Don't feel like everything's gonna go wrong if you can't do a visit.